on to this week's Better Sports News, and I would like to officially welcome you to Belmont Weekend. That's what I'm here to talk about right now. Santa Anita, we are going to have a great time. This place is gonna be packed. Now, I may be a little biased, but I am gonna talk about my favorite part in the whole entire track, which is the Gallop Out. We will have a $50 buffet with a program. The program is included with the buffet all day, and it is the best view of the track. You will watch the horses race there from our track. You will watch the Belmont race on any of our beautiful TVs, HD TVs, and also any other sports that you want to watch on Saturday the 6th. And a huge party that we're going to have is K-Rock is going to be here in the infield all day on Saturday. You're going to get a free program, free parking, free entrance. It's going to be insane. I hope I get a little time to go and check it out because we have the Smiths Tribute Band will also be here, and I love the Smiths, so that's going to be such a good time. They also have a ton of lawn games, ton of food trucks, so it's just gonna be like a perfect summer day. And to top it all off, you get 2 drink tickets and a Santa Anita cap. Also, for the Gallop Out, you get an American Pharoah hat, so that is all icing on the cake. Now, if you wanna join our most elegant part of the track, the chandelier room, we are going to have the executive chef from the famed and delicious Church Key restaurant in West Hollywood. Stephen Fretz will be here designing his own dishes for the chandelier room. There is a elegant dress code, so make sure you look dapper if you want to join in on the party for that. It is $65. And champagne will be served. You will get 1 glass of champagne from noon to 1:30. You will also get a racing program. And remember, for all these areas, you must be 21 and up. The chandelier room will also have live music, so that's going to be a jolly old time in there. Now, my fun fact for this week is actually a fun video, and it's a little gassy. So I'm going to leave you with this video and then kick it to my boys, Chappie and Giorgio, and they will fill you in with the rest. Thanks for tuning in, and hope you get a kick out of this video. Ciao!
Who farted on the extreme outside? Colorado Co-ed, Toast a Dozen on the inside. Quester's Jet, who farted? Who farted on the outside? It's close. Who farted in the winner's circle?
How do they get some of those names past this, like the judges that say, oh, it's okay to name that horse that?
And they always try to get something past them, Once in a while it works. I know Mike Pegram's kind of famous for that, trying to sneak one in for the baffle.
So is Roger Stein. Roger Stein has some wacky names as well. All right, well, welcome to Better Sports News. I am Giorgio, my man here.
Chappie, how are you?
All right, and we've been waiting for this. This is so exciting. It's Belmont. What a weekend. American Pharoah going for the Triple Crown. What do you think of this, huh?
I'll tell you what, George, we've been on American Pharoah since maybe December, January. Yeah. I called Triple Crown early. I'm sure some other people did as well. We got to stick to it. I know he's doing very well this week. The Gallop seemed to be going well at Churchill. He's down at Belmont. Looks the picture of health. Triple Crown time, folks. First time in, 36 years.
Very exciting. If you're anywhere in Southern California, you got to come to Santa Anita. We're planning a huge day. Fenix talked about it already in the Gallop Out, in the chandelier room, in the suites. Wherever you are, it's going to be a lot of excitement. It's just a perfect place to spend a day, Saturday, right here. American Pharoah going for the Triple Crown. You want to be a part of history, definitely come out to Santa Anita. You're going to have a great time, right?
I can't wait, George. And I'll tell you what, history should be made. It's going to be a great time here. Lots of things going on. We should have a packed house, 30+ thousand people. And I know we're going to get to it shortly, but we got a little pick 4, that we're going to try to end on the Belmont and make you guys some money as well.
All right. Another exciting thing that started this weekend, of course, is the finals of the NBA. Really exciting. 2 teams that I think everybody really wanted to see. You got LeBron James, best player in the world on one team. You got the Splash Brothers, who are just killing it. Everybody likes watching them. It's going to be, I think, a great series. How do you see that series?
Well, I think I like the Warriors, and I'll tell you what, they had a nice week-plus break because of the both series ended early, and I think that really benefited, actually probably both teams. I know LeBron was a little nicked up. Definitely benefited the Golden State Warriors because of some of the injuries, Klay Thompson with the concussion problems. So I think let's get it on, Georgie. But I'm picking Golden State.
Very exciting. And I'm picking Cleveland. I think they got the best player in the world. He's been there before. Golden State's their first time. I think they're going to be a little nervous. I really do. I think the moment could be bigger than them right now, but we'll see. I'm going for Cleveland. You got Golden State. We'll see what happens. I got a question about baseball. You're a big baseball fan. I understand you're a Cubs fan. Is that right?
I think we've said that before, George. I'm a diehard Cubs fan. I'm sure John Mann could tell you well. I'm always trying to peek around when the game's on TV behind us.
All right. Well, the Cubs have been doing something that I think is interesting. They've been putting their pitcher in the 8th slot time and time and time again. Of course, breaking tradition where the pitcher's always bats 9th. What's going on with them batting 8th, and you think that this is a good plan?
I do. I mean, Tony La Russa kind of started that back in the day for the Cardinals, and Joe Maddon's kind of picked up on that, and a few managers have kind of gone back and forth with it. The one good thing about with it being the Cubs doing it is that they have a rookie, Addison Russell, who's 21 years old, one of the youngest players in baseball, batting 9th rather than 8th. So what it does is it gives him more protection. It's hard for a kid to bat in front of the pitcher because they don't see many good pitches because they're going to pitch around him. So it kind of forces him, what did Joe Maddon always says, it kind of gives him a second leadoff hitter. But I think it's beneficial to a young kid because he's going to see better pitches with the leadoff man behind him. So they're kind of, in this scenario, protecting a young kid, making him see better pitches and kind of easing him way into, he's going to end up being a top 2-3 hitter for this team, but it kind of protects him a little bit and puts him down in a position where he doesn't have a lot of, he's comfortable. He doesn't have a lot of pressure, but yet he gets to see some better pitches with the leadoff man behind him.
There's a method behind the madness. All right.
We'll see. I don't think the stats have really shown one way or the other whether it's beneficial or not, but it definitely hasn't shown where it's not beneficial as well. So time will tell.
Time will tell. Very exciting. Okay, you know what's very exciting? One of my favorite personalities in the entire track was here earlier, and I got a chance to interview him, David Nuesch. You know David Nuesch?
I love David Nuesch.
I love David Nuesch, and here's our interview with David Nuesch. You're going to love it. Hello, Better Sports News fans. I am here with one of my favorite personalities at the track, David Nuesch. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here.
It's great to be here.
Oh, man. You know, I mean, I known you as so many different, you wear many hats. I wear this big hat. You wear many hats. But I originally knew you as one of my favorite jockeys on and off the track. You're just a wonderful jockey to bet on, a wonderful jockey to talk to afterwards. Has it really been 10 years
It
since
has
you've
been
riding?
10 years. I cannot believe it, but it has been 10 years since I've been riding races.
You were a pleasure to watch. Now, I understand early in your career as a jockey, you were like neck and neck with Kent DeSormo for the national title for Eclipse Award.
I was. We both were apprentice riders. His apprenticeship ended in the summertime, and so mine went all the way into the fall, into November. So I had him nervous for a little while. He might not admit it, but I had him nervous. I had him scared. I was riding in New York. I was fortunate to ride for some really good outfits and big money. So even though he was winning 2 and 3 races to my 1, I was kind of staying neck and neck with him in purse earnings.
In purse earnings.
In the end, he deservedly won the Eclipse Award. Kent did, but and he just, his momentum just picked up speed when he lost the bug.
Now, what got you started to be a jockey? How did you get into that?
I was born on a farm in Virginia.
Oh.
My dad, he's actually from Switzerland. Nuesch is Swiss.
Oh, wow.
And he was in the Swiss cavalry. He came over here. He was a 3-day event rider, and he graduated over to racehorses. He kind of gravitated that way. So I grew up riding ponies, and not long after, I was galloping horses at our farm. And through his connections, got started riding races in New York.
Your farm was where, though?
In Virginia.
And so how do you get to New York from Virginia?
He had a lot of the same clients. He would break and train the horses, doing all the preliminary work, kind of the training camp to get them to the races, and then they would go off to Belmont Park, and that created a connection with a gentleman named Richard DeStasio.
Oh yeah, DeStasio still.
Yeah, DeStasio.
Right.
So he
big
was.
name.
Yeah, he was. I had a contract with him, so I was his number 1 jockey to get going. And fortunately, he had a good year. We had a strong year together, and it really slingshotted me into high gear.
So you ran in New York. What other states have you run in?
I've been in a lot of places. Penn National, that's behind me. I rode there for a while. After I lost the bug, like a lot of us, it got really tough. I had a good rookie year. Got tough after that. So I ping-ponged around a lot. Met a lot of good people, a lot of different places. The best I've probably did after that was Emerald Downs in Seattle.
Emerald Downs.
I was there in the
Okay.
late 90s. I had made it to Northern California, went to Emerald in the summer, was lead rider in 1998 there.
Oh, wow.
And ended up here via Seabiscuit, believe it or not. I came to work on that.
Oh, my.
And that's how I ended up in Southern California for the last couple of years of my career.
What track was your favorite track to ride in?
That's tough. I would have to say between Santa Anita and Del Mar, just because
Oh,
they're
really?
so
Awesome.
Santa
Hey,
Anita,
local.
Santa Anita is so historic,
That's
and
true.
Del Mar just has such a cool vibe to it, and there's so much energy, and so many people come to the races. It's hard not to be being part of either one of those.
I don't remember you riding, but I remember your father. He was really good back in the day. He was so wonderful, your father. Tell us about that.
We did a handicapping show. I was just telling George this off camera. We did this handicapping seminar together at Hollywood Park, and one of the fans came up after and said, "Dave, man, I remember when your dad used to ride." And I said, "No, that's me." And he goes, "No, this was a long time ago." And I go, "No, that was me." So I took it as a compliment that I don't look like I'm 45.
So what year was that?
That was 1986 I started.
Wow,
And
86.
the height of the bug was 87. That was most of the year when things were really rolling.
Of all the horses, is there one or two particular that stand out that you rode?
You know, my biggest win came in Texas, but a horse from California, for Mike Mitchell,
Oh,
and a
Mike
horse named
Mitchell.
Keela. Yeah,
Keela,
And
who just passed away.
Mike just passed
Oh,
away.
man.
Yeah, just recently. So, I have a
Keela.
soft spot in my heart for him, and it was a neat opportunity because Tyler Bays was his main jockey, and it was one of the days like Gold Rush Day or Cow Cup Day. It was over here, and so he was committed to riding so many races here. So we were actually doing a barbecue, a jockey barbecue, and with Mike's involvement, he was hanging out after, and he says, "You want to go ride a horse for me in Texas?" And I'm like, "Sign me up, I'm
Man,
going."
That's great.
So it was an opportunity that kind of came out of nowhere, and it turned out to be my career high win.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Now, I've seen you on the back on a horse, but way back in a buggy, running around here at Santa Anita.
Yep,
What
yep.
are you doing now?
I feel like royalty. I go out
Yeah, you look
I go out
great
on
in
the,
that buggy.
on the chariot every race down to the 8th pole. I'm what they call a patrol judge.
A patrol
and
judge?
So I'm
And
kind
what
of
else?
I'm also
Patrol
a
judge?
safety steward.
Patrol judge and safety steward,
they're
which I have no
separate
idea
jobs.
what they are at all whatsoever. So enlighten us. What are these?
Yeah, the patrol judge, which you see me when I'm riding out on
Mm-hmm.
the track. I go down to the 8th pole. There's a tower there. You see several towers around the
Right.
track, and we're kind of the live eyes on the race. The stewards upstairs, they have 3 main stewards, and they watch the race. One is watching it live. 2 are watching it on cameras,
Oh, okay.
on all the different angles. But then we also watching it live with binoculars, and we're given feedback from the different vantage points around the track. And so ultimately, you know, the
That
decision
job is called what? The
patrol judge.
Patrol judge.
Yeah,
okay.
patrol judge.
And so you watch a certain angle, and another judge watches another angle.
Another
Is
angle,
that it?
exactly,
Okay.
exactly. We radio back our feedback. If we see some riders got into trouble, any kind of activity in the race, we radio it back to the upstairs, and then they make a decision, and it always goes back to videotape.
And what led you to this job, from jockey to that job?
Well, this is kind of a stepping stone in between. I've also been what they call a safety steward. And just like the big 3 that are upstairs, there's a position here in California called a safety steward. And that one is the same version but mobile. We're on the ground. We're in the licensing office. We're on the backside. All the kind of little things that stewards used to have to sign off on or be part of. They try to take the pressure off. That's what a safety steward does. The main one here is Louis Howdigi.
Harry?
Yeah.
Also
he's-
was an ex-jockey?
Yeah, also an ex-jockey. And I think that helps because you're familiar with not only the players, the trainers, everybody on the backside, you kind of know how that operates. But when it comes to watching races, you have that feel for it too, where
So your career as a jockey has
helped you,
into-
exactly, helped lead
Is there
into it.
career goals? Is there places to advance that you're looking forward to?
ultimately the steward, probably the main steward job would be the end goal, I guess you would say, because it's one of those things where you always think that's something to do later in life, but now later in life is here, and it is a good career path where you can be an asset to racing. You can help contribute with using your knowledge from racing and your experience and all the different things.
You're still every now and then you get on horses in the morning, gallop horses?
I do.
And
you
you
know, all
have-
these jobs are part-time. I still get on horses.
And is there a special horse you're in?
See, you knew where I wanted you to go with that. I get on for Richard Mandela, and fortunately, I get on Beholder.
Wow,
Yeah.
Beholder, how sweet is that?
So I was pretty much full-time with Richard until these other jobs started to come up, and now I've cut those back to only being part-time. I get on 3 or 4 horses early in the morning, and she's one of them. And fortunately, we had 2 Breeders' Cup wins. We missed the last one because of an illness, but we're
That was
hoping
sad,
for this
man.
year.
We announced you was crowd. So
Oh,
sad.
I know it. But we're hoping for this year again.
All right. Beholder is beautiful, and so is somebody who works for Matt Chu. She's beautiful too. Isn't she beautiful? Who
She
is
is.
it? Who am I talking
Daryl
about?
Bond. Well, now Daryl Nuesch, because we just got
You
married.
just got
Look at
married.
that.
Oh,
Thank
congratulations!
you.
Wow, how long have you married?
It's just 2 weeks.
Wow, and you
weeks.
met her working on what?
She ran the Luck Barn, which was a show that we made through one season. We were shooting the first episode of season 2, and it got scrapped. But something good came out of it.
That's
So,
beautiful.
yeah,
So on the set of Luck,
Yep, on
Matt
the
Chu
set.
was wrangling all the horses for Luck, right?
Exactly. He was an integral part of that. And so through that, I met Daryl, and we became friends, and we got to go out and complain about the day and drowned our sorrows when the show got canceled, but it all worked out well.
How do you love
She's-
working here at Santa Anita? Beautiful, right?
I do. Yeah, I do. I love it.
Yeah, I love it here as well. All right, well, thank you so much for being on the program. I wish your dad could have been here because he was such a good jockey.
I know.
Your dad was a
He
good
would have
jockey.
been so much insight for you.
All right, thank you. David Nuesch and I are going to go back and handicap the Belmont. You have a pick for the Belmont?
I'm rooting for American Pharoah. I really am. It's such a hard thing to pull off, as you know. But
was really hard.
Everyone wants to knock that the times are slow, but he sure looked impressive to me doing the first 2 legs. So
He sure did.
Come on,
All
Triple
right,
Crown.
Let's see what Chappie and George O say right now. David Nuesch, he's a great guy, right?
I love him. Yeah, that was very interesting. I love Beholder. That
Well, he's on Beholder
one
in
of
the
the best fillies of all times. I can't imagine getting on a machine like that every morning.
Ooh, how lucky is he? And I love that father story. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people at the track come up and tell me, and they point to David Nuesch and go, how come he gets to ride in that chariot? What the heck's going on there? Huh? I want to ride in that chariot too. And then you got to try to explain, well, he was a judge and this and that and that. No, I want to be on that. I want to be on that chariot right now. It's like, man, they're so jealous of David Nuesch. You know?
That's right.
He gets on Beholder, he gets on the chariot. His father was a great rider. What the heck's going on with David Nuesch? All right, during the break, unbelievable. I just got texted this just now. Charter Communications for $57 billion has acquired Time Warner Cable, and now we're going to get the Dodgers right here in Southern California instead of just on one channel. It's just everybody's going to be able to see it. Isn't that great?
Unbelievable, George. I mean, can you imagine living here?
Woo.
You know the Cub fan I am. If I
Yeah.
couldn't watch my own team in my own
Oh, my
city, it
goodness.
would drive me absolutely nuts. So good for the fans. I mean, obviously, it's not going to be on DirecTV yet or the dish.
Right.
But a lot more customers will get to be able to see the Dodgers now. And I think that's a huge welcome here in the LA area.
Wow. Jim, when does it start?
About 2 weeks.
In about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Jim he's on it. Jim is on it. In 2 weeks, we're going to be able to see the Dodgers. And Saturday, we're going to be able to see the Belmont Stakes right here at Santa Anita. It's going to be so exciting. Now, Martin Panza, who was the racing secretary at Hollywood Park, is now the racing secretary over there in Naira in New York. And what he has done, and I think it's a phenomenal idea, he's making days like this, not just big days, but huge, gigantic, Sunday kind of days, like ridiculous days. And Saturday, there's like 57,000 Grade 1 races, right? What's going on?
Martin Panza's done a good job. He's making it like the Super Saturday now. The big days are huge. And we've got all these races. And of course, that leads to better gambling for us, full fields. And of course, pick 4 time for us, George. That's our favorite
Pick
thing.
4 time. I got to put my glasses on because the pick 4 is going to be spectacular. And either Chappie's going to hit it or I'm going to hit it. But we can't both hit it because I am sure that we're going to go in totally different directions. All right, we started in race 8. It's the Just a Game, the Long G's Just a Game. It's a Grade 1, a mile on the turf. And I'm going nuts. I'm singling a horse that I have bet time and time again. He's really come through for me on numerous occasions. Last time, she just broke terrible. It was like a terrible break. She blew the break, still came flying, still ran a good number. I'm telling you, I love this horse. 12-1 she is on the morning line. And I know there's some other horses that definitely can win this race. But you know what? Sometimes you just got to go, what? You know what? I'm going to go nuts. I'm going to single in the first leg. 12-1 shot. Sand Diva for Todd Pletcher. Mike Smith is out there. And I think this horse was riding 2 wins and then just missed by a neck. Then I had a bad trip last time going off slow. The other horses could win as well. I love the Thoroughgraph numbers. I'm going to single the 12 and bet the 12 to win. Number 2, Sandiva.
George, I love where you're coming from here. Pletcher, kind of third off the lane, Mike Smith. And here's what I say. Chuck her out. I'm not even using her. 0 for 7 at a mile. I'm not going to use her. I'm going to go 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, 5 deep here. Not even using your deuce. Woo. Usually we're on the same page. One of us is going to be out after the first leg.
All right, we're moving on to race number 9. And I'm going to use a number of horses since I single in that race. This is the Metropolitan Handicap, a staple there in New York. 1 flat mile on the dirt. I'm using a lot of horses. I'm using Private Zone for sure, who I think is the fastest horse in the race without question. Definitely using Tunnelist, who's, just throws in some spectacular races every now and then. I like a horse, Tamarcas, number 5, is coming in for a trainer that must be used right now. Over the last 90 days, Kieran McLaughlin is like almost 40% winners. He is so hot, you got to use him. First time Lasix, first time in the country from Maidan, running some big Thoroughgraph numbers. I'm definitely using him as well. I'm using the honor code, so I'm using a number of horses in this race. 1, 4, 5, 6, 9.
I'm 3, 4, 6, 8, 9, so we're similar. I was wondering if you were going to use Bayern. One bad race and you're already off the Bayern trail. 1 for 1. He didn't like the track at Churchill. 7-2. I think that number might actually creep up. I think that's a very interesting horse. Baffert wouldn't ship and run again if Bayern wasn't a good. The horse won the Breeders' Cup Classic last year. Right. I think the Met Mile's right up mile of distance. I love Bayern here, but I am going to go, 6 deep, Georgie.
6 deep. All right, sounds good. All right, race number 10 is the Knob Creek Manhattan. They're going 1.25 miles on the turf. It's a long race, and I'm trying to use as many horses as I can. And I have a sentimental favorite, of course, Finnegan's Wake, who, of course, trained by Peter Miller. Our man, Gary Hartunian's got that horse. I think Finnegan's Wake won last time, Grade 1, the Turf Classic. And so definitely that horse can win. I'm using a number of horses, though. I'm going 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, and 11, using as many horses as I can to get to the final race.
Of course, Georgie and I are definitely going to be rooting for Finnegan's Wake. Gary Hartunian's one of our favorite guys, Rockingham Ranch out here. Unfortunately, he didn't make the trip back to Belmont. I saw him today here at the track. Yeah. He's not going back. He's expecting a grandchild here. We're rooting for Gary Hartunian and Peter Miller. I'm doing the same as you, George, here. I'm actually 8 deep. 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11. I would have loved to use the all Chappie button here, but the ticket was getting a little too expensive. I think you and I are both trying to catch a price here, 8 deep for me.
All right, now here's the Belmont Stakes, and I tell you what, I am definitely rooting for American Pharoah. I think American Pharoah can certainly win. I'm using American Pharoah in my pick 4. But I am using some other horses, and when the actual race comes, there's a horse that I must play. And it's one of these things where, you can't bet with your heart. My heart is going to American Pharoah. I think American Pharoah can certainly win, but I'm using 3 horses. I'm using American Pharoah, I'm using Frosted, and I'm using Materiality. The honest truth is, and there was complained about last year by the owners of California Chrome, is that horses that take a 5-week rest period just do better. It's one of those things. And Frosted is a horse for me that I think is going to fire really big, and it's going to be the biggest threat to American Pharoah. He's had 5 weeks to rest. He didn't run in the Preakness. They're saving him up. It's a definite benefit. He ran the biggest 2-year-old number on Thoroughgraph sheets of any of the horses in the field, and then he paired it up and even did better as a 3-year-old, which is a good sign. He ran a really good race in the Kentucky Derby. American Pharoah saved a lot of ground, had a great trip. He went to the lead. Frosted ran really well. I think Frosted with the rest and Kieran McLaughlin almost 40% over the last 90 days. He's just on a roll. I'm going to bet Frosted to win, and I hope I lose every penny I bet on Frosted. But that's the horse to bet. And American Pharoah, for me, is the horse to root for.
Well, the horse to bet, George, is American Pharoah. Best horse. The mile-and-a-half distance, no problem. He's got that high cruising speed. He's doing well. I've been on him since day one. I couldn't do anything but single here. Obviously, you're going to get 2 to 5.
Right.
Every Joe Schmo in the world's going to bet 2 to win and save the ticket here. But that's why I'm pairing him up in the pick 4 and singling to try to get some kind of value here. Spread, single, Triple Crown time, folks, right here, American Pharoah. So let's go home, have you lose on your frosted bet. We'll get our first Triple Crown winner in a long time, and we'll be happy campers, George.
You won't lose if you come out to Santa Anita. You're going to have a great time in the gift shop run by a beautiful woman. She's wonderful. Oh, it's my wife.
Your better half.
I better half. They got American Pharoah t-shirts for sale. They got paraphernalia. Just a wonderful time you're going to have here at Santa Anita. It's going to be fantastic.
That's right. Can't wait.
I can't wait.
Let's
Thank you
get it
guys.
on.
Thank you guys for watching. On behalf of everybody here, Dee, Phoenix, Jim, John, David Nuesch did a great job out here. My man Chappie, I'm George O. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week, and we want to see you here at Santa Anita for the Belmont.